Welcome to Simplilearn's comprehensive course on web application security. In today's digital age, ensuring the security of web applications is more critical than ever. Whether you are a beginner or an experienced developer, this course covers everything you need to know to protect your applications from common vulnerabilities. So, web application security is a high demand skill as cyber threats continue to rise. Businesses are seeking professionals who can safeguard their applications and data, making this expertise invaluable. By learning web application security, you are opening doors to exciting career opportunities and competitive salaries. We will start with the basics of web security, explaining fundamental concepts and best practices. We will learn about the OWASP Top 10, a critical list of the most common security risks, and how to mitigate them. The course also covers specific threats such as SQL injection, cross-site scripting, and cross-site request forgery, offering practical prevention advice. Additionally, we will explore secure coding practices, data encryption techniques, and the importance of secure authentication methods. And by the end of this course, you will have a solid understanding of how to implement robust security measures in your web applications, ensuring they are well protected against potential cyber threats.
Craving a career upgrade? Subscribe, like, and comment below. Dive into the link in the description to fast-track your ambitions. Whether you're making a switch or aiming higher, Simplilearn has your back.
And before we commence, guys, if you are interested in elevating your career in cybersecurity, so look no further and join our postgraduate program in cybersecurity and become an expert in this fast-growing field. This program will help you stay updated with the latest trends and skills needed for a successful career in cybersecurity. You will learn from MIT experts through live master classes, gain exclusive access to the EC Council's Learning Kit and exam voucher, and become part of the MIT CSAIL professional programs community. You can find the course link in the description box and pinned comment.
Starting with the introduction. Before that, let's have a little course introduction. So we'll be doing an introduction to application security. What is application security? Where it is used. So as the name says, application security includes all tasks that introduce a security software development lifecycle, development teams. Its goal is to improve security practices and find, fix, and prevent security issues within applications. How it is done, why it is done, that we will learn along the journey, along with practical examples. Application security is not confined to a certain area. It's not confined to IT as it seems that it might be confined to IT industry only, but no. You might have heard about attacks, cybersecurity attacks on government institutes, energy and utilities, healthcare institutes, banking institutes. So yes, it impacts application security, impacts all of these sectors. How they impact, we will be seeing it while the journey is going on. Our course would start with the introduction, which we are doing, then the core concepts, what's software security, how secure software testing is done, what is cryptography, a very important topic, and secure software lifecycle management. Skills that we'll be covering would be web app scanning, encryption, application monitoring, error logging, OWASP top 10, and API security. The agenda for today: web app security, application and web app security. All right, so what are the learning objectives for today? Again, the basics, core concepts of security. We'll be able to classify the best practices. We will be analyzing one case study that would be of Uber. We will see what went wrong or what went good, how web application security would have done it better, and we will categorize the requirements. For a foolproof security team, what are the requirements? We'll be seeing it. So say if you have joined any organization as a cybersecurity specialist, where would this course help you? say you are given the following tasks which you will be able to do after this session. Understand the vulnerability stack. What are vulnerabilities, how they are classified, which application is impacted, where to see which vulnerabilities, where on the net they are visible, is there any database for vulnerabilities, how many of these are there, what about the vulnerabilities which were there in the history, can we find them? We will be able to understand the organization's security policy. So whatever organization you are working in currently, you will be able to understand their security policy. Then you will be able to review the core security requirements. Whenever we talk about any software, so we talk about a software, we know it is something that we use in our day-to-day life. It is a firmware with which we access applications. What is secure software? Now the same software or same application is secured by means of following attributes. Which attributes? Reliability, resiliency, recoverability. When I talk about reliability, as the name says, that is the software dependable? It fulfills the purpose for which it was created. For example, if I talk about social networking sites, these social networking softwares, so we know we at once our mind will answer, okay, you are talking about social connection softwares, so it's either WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram. So these companies or these softwares have made a reliability mind setup. So whenever we talk about social engineering, these softwares would revolve in our mind. When we talk about resiliency, means that the software does not violate any security policy. So it's able to withstand the actions of threat agents. Resiliency means I downloaded the software today and tomorrow it's demanding ransomware to use. My files are encrypted. It's saying that you cannot move forward from this point. So resiliency should be there. It does not violate any security policy. Reliability was the software is dependable. Recoverability, as the name says, so if I remove any of the application from my phone, I have some restore point or backup point from where I will get the entire thing back in same setup without any loss of data. So software is able to restore operations. When you buy a new phone, you simply have to log in into your ID, which is majorly it is, if it is Android, you have to use your Gmail ID, and entire backup of applications from your previous phone to your new phone, it clones it. So that talks about the recoverability. After software or secure software, we talk about web applications. What are web applications? These are nothing but software programs that run on web browsers. If I open, say, any website, Simplilearn, what is this? This is a web application which is running in my browser. So anything, any application or any software which runs on browser, which runs on web, is web application. Talking about the flow, let's talk about the flow, how the data flows. I'll be using different symbols here. So let's say this is my database server, or I call it DB. This is my application server. This one is the web server. So all these things combined together, they work in background. So these would be the backend thing. All three of these are backend. When I talk about the applications, if I am seeing this, so this all is in front end because it's directly on UI on which I'm interacting with it. So front end would be, this would be my web browser and the system on which it is running, laptop or mobile, whatever device it is. So I won't be using cloud here, but yes, this is front end. How would be the flow move? My database server will fetch the address I searched for Simplilearn. Application server will respond that yes, this is Simplilearn application. The application server will respond and the web server will then be showing this to web browser. So now Simplilearn is visible on web browser and that is reflected on my device, which is either laptop or mobile. And this thing is front end. So just an overview how web applications work, which main components are in action, starting from database server in which entire applications, entire Simplilearn things are hosted, application server on which the application is hosted, web server responding on web browser to your laptop or mobile. Application vulnerability stack. If we talk about application vulnerability stack or AVS, as the name says, it will talk about application, irrespective it is web application, mobile application, cloud application. Any vulnerability that is impacting this application would be a part of application vulnerability stack. So when you talk about vulnerability, what is vulnerability? Anyone want to answer it? I won't be judging over it, but yes, just to see how many of you can answer what is a vulnerability. If I say any application, say if I say, I won't be naming any other application. If I say Simplilearn application is having some vulnerability, what does that means? Does mobile app also require web server in the backend? How is web server different from web browser? All right. So I'll firstly answer these two questions from Vardhan and Vasudev. So Vardhan says, how is web server different from web browser? Vardhan, web server is on which the application is hosted, which is in the backend, from where my web browser, which is Chrome, it is fetching that detail from some web browser on which Simplilearn is hosted. So answering your question, web browser is either Chrome, the one which is obsolete, Internet Explorer, which is now not used. In its place, we have Microsoft Explorer, Firefox, so Opera Mini. So all these are web browsers, while web servers are Apache, Apache web server. We have some web servers from Oracle. Microsoft has its own web servers. Google has its web servers. AWS has its web servers. So that's the difference between web server and web browser. Does mobile app also require web server in the backend? Vasudev, yes. The answer is if, because you also use web browsers on your mobiles. So if you are using browser, say you want to see your report card and you want to access uh, the website of your university or college, if you are using your mobile browser, you again are accessing their web server in the backend. Pradeep says web application and website, what is the major difference? uh, Both of them work on www. So web site and web application both works on our browser. In Android Studio, we use web view, which is like a server. That's true, Vardhan. Vulnerability is a thing which happens, integrity and availability for data. Sudarshan, that shows that you have been good in the module 1, because that's from where you are answering it. That's good. All right. Answer to this in two different scenarios. One scenario, the one I discussed, where you are using mobile application, say which is mobile Chrome, which is Chrome or Firefox inside your mobile. Now it is the mobile application. It runs on web servers, uh, Edge. Again, these are mobile applications and they do have web servers on which they will show you the answers, because they are browsers. So yes, they have servers in the background. Talking about other applications, although this answers your question, google.com is a website. Yes, it Google ultimately uses servers, database server. Google.com, when you search, so searching here, although it is my default page, but yes, google.com, it is talking to its server in the backend and showing me this page. So this page is web page of Google or website of Google. So now you got your answer. Web application would be if you're using that Google application in your phone, that's the application. While anything which you see on web browser is a website. Web app server, mobile app server, do they run on same server? That depends upon company to company. If I'm having a big company like Google or Microsoft, I'll have different servers, so that if my web app is down, my mobile app is running. It doesn't impact it. While if I'm a small cap company or medium cap company, I might have both on same physical server or same cloud server. So I might use AWS with different instances running for mobile and web app, or I might have, because even if I'm smaller than that with low budget, I'll be having single physical server with both of them running on it. So depending upon the budget I am having. We were talking about stack. When we talk about stack, let's start from the network part. When we talk about networks, what are the things that are under attack? We either talk about routers or firewalls. When we talk about operating systems, and these all are the things that you need to know to be successful in cybersecurity domain. Knowledge of each one of these. applications would either be open source or licensed, which are commercial. Database, when you talk about DB, there are certain databases that run in the background. We have Oracle, MySQL, DB2, and so on. The list goes on. But these are the major on which the attacks are targeted. What are the components? Web server, either Apache, Microsoft, IaaS, custom web application. What issues do we see in custom web applications? This generally happens when there is an application already placed there. There's a application working, and its source code is available, say in GitLab. So when you talk about its source code is there in GitLab, you try to customize it according to your wish. Say Uber is there already placed in GitLab, the code is there. I make some changes according to my requirement and uh, generate a new taxi application with some name. Say my name is Harpreet, so let it be Harpreet cabs or blue cabs, yellow cabs, whatever. So I'm using code which is already there, but now I have made it customized according to my needs. We can have business logic flows, or we can have technical vulnerabilities. If I'm not into security thing, I might change something which could induce a vulnerability in that application, in that customized application, not the original one, because I'm now playing with it. So I might induce some technical vulnerability in it with the changes I'm trying to do. But again, that depends upon what kind of service you are taking from the cloud provider. If the security is managed by them, then you don't have to fear anything. If anything happens, your data is lost, the cloud providers would compensate you, but that typically never happens. Does web scrapping comes into this issue as we try to extract info without permission of the company? If you notice, uh, when I'm trying to answer your questions, I'm revolving around Simplilearn only, due to same thing what you are trying to question, Vardhan. Yes, when you try to say, even when we will be attacking websites, it would be mostly Simplilearn only, because we won't be attacking any other website of any other company that could lead us in trouble or jail. So yes, that's a very good question. If you try to fingerprint, we call it fingerprinting or footprinting, uh, when you try to collect data of any website or any company through these means, their SOC team, their security team would come to know that something fishy is happening, and yes, that might lead you in trouble. So permission of company is necessary in most of the cases. All right, next point is single page applications. As the name says, applications which run on a single page, they are called single page applications. How they work? Uh, Say it's a design approach that generates web pages dynamically with new data from the web server instead of loading entire new pages. So every time you open single page web application, it auto generates the data from web server, and it doesn't always go back to a web server for fresh linkages, which could impact in its loading. So for faster loading, SPA generally uses AJAX to exchange data with the server and JavaScript to manipulate the elements on the existing page. So what does it use? SPA uses AJAX. Why? To exchange data with server. What else is used? JavaScript to manipulate the objects. Now, how can I know that what elements are there on any website? So let me show you. So talking about single page application, this is Simplilearn. I want to know what are the backend things working on this page. I go to inspect element and use inspect element to go one by one, or I use some bookmarks. The bookmark I will be using would be Vapalizer and Shodan. Talking about Vapalizer, it shows that Simplilearn is using Microsoft advertising for performance, priority hints. For marketing automation, they are using WebEngage, SalesLoft. Amazon CloudFront is the WAF, which is CDN. Personalization is done on WebEngage version 6. So they are using PaaS, platform as a service. So Simplilearn is hosted on web application, Amazon Web Services. Now you know from where it's fetching the data from. The analytics, they are using Facebook Pixel, Google Analytics, Microsoft Clarity. Loadable components, jQuery, Crypto.js. So these are the JavaScript libraries. If you want more, click on more info. I guess it would be paid. Yes, it's paid. You can export this entire information if you want. You can use same thing for other application. The other application or extension that I'll be using is Shodan. It shows. So I didn't know the IP address from Vapalizer. So Shodan showed me that, okay, this is the IP address of Simplilearn. It's on cloud. We know that it is AWS. Open ports are 80 and 443. In network, you will be, network you have already done, enterprise infrastructure. So you know open ports, 80 is for HTTP, 443 is for HTTPS. So you can view IP details, view domain details. Moving ahead, it will show you more details. I'm not sure if it is paid now. No, it is not. So it's on Amazon. It's the ISP using CloudFront. Port 80, which is HTTP, HTTPS. So these datas you can get from some extensions. If you are good at coding, that is always a plus point, because in web application security, there are two types of testing. One is static analysis and the other is dynamic analysis. When we are doing static analysis is nothing but source code review. You review the codes For that, you should be good in coding. While if you are doing dynamic testing, that means websites in motion. For those, you just need know-how of coding and not the entire code structure. So better if you are having Java or Python knowledge. If don't know coding that much, if you are a fresher, then you can learn it by heart. That would help you in long run. But if your current job doesn't require it, so you may even not go along with it. I'm currently okay. You are in network side, so I started with networks only. Uh, I started with networks, then wireless networks, data networks, wireless networks, and now I'm in cybersecurity. It doesn't necessarily require you to know the websites, the programming, but yes, it could help you. All right, brief on it. Okay, so AJAX is it is a set of web development techniques. When I'm using AJAX on my client side on my system, it's used to create asynchronous web applications. So we can send and receive data from server without interfering with the display and behavior of existing page. Even though this is working on your, we are using the chat within this application, it is not impacting any other functionality while we are doing this session. So this is AJAX. We are using AJAX. It is just utilizing a bit of the entire thing without impacting anything. That dynamic thing is called AJAX. So it is not changing behavior of the existing page, but we are still able to chat. Any example of SPA, if possible. Single, this one example is the Zoom learning that we are doing. We are using meeting chat without impacting any other thing. In Simplilearn, this application is again SPA. When I search anything random, it will provide me the answer. Although I know Harpreet is nowhere inside it, it will just throw an error without impacting anything else on the page. So your search did not match any content. It took a second or so. So without impacting this, it's SPA using AJAX. After single page application, all right, let's talk more about a bit more about how single page application works. Let's see. I don't want to save it. All right. So again, this is my browser. This is my server. This is my application. This is the response. So my browser will send a request. What it is doing, it is sending a request. Server will respond with HTML file. Then okay, this is in response to your request. That this is the file. Now the application sends an AJAX request to fetch data from the server. Just keep correlating. You open your Google Chrome, you search for say Simplilearn. Server provided HTML file at first. Then the application sends AJAX request. Why it is sent? To fetch data from the server. So now it is just sending AJAX so that additional data from server is requested without any impact on this page which is already showing on browser. The final step would be web page is updated using JSON data. So JSON data is received, which is then updated on your web browser. So this is how it is functioning in the background. Of a single page application. Is payment system with UPI also SPA? Because once we reach to payment page, then it sends a request to UPI and keeps polling if we have made the payment or not. So there's another thing running in UPI systems, because there it works two ways. Once it is interacting with a server which checks that if payment is made. Another, it is interacting with the server which checks if you have provided the proper MPIN or OTP. Third, it is interacting with your bank from which the payment has been made. So it's a little different. It's not entirely SPA, but a combination of SPAs at three different levels. All these three levels that I talked. Is server and application generating running on same system or different? Is server and application generating AJAX running on same system or different? Since I am using this web browser, Simplilearn wants to talk with me, but I don't. So if I'm using this website on my local machine, that means AJAX is running on this client system. So this answers your question, that AJAX works on the same system on which the web browser or web app is running. JSON, how it works? JSON is a message that you get, say, if you are all right. So if any response you are getting in JSON format, you can simply use JSON viewer. I don't have JSON sample currently, but let me see if I can get it from somewhere. Okay, so say if this is the JSON data that we are getting, simply use it in viewer. It will show you data in this format, in tabular format, that okay, the employee name is this, salary is this, and it's he or she is married. So this was the code. JSON viewer simplified it in a tabular form. So if this helps you in your daily work, what are the most commonly used frameworks for developing SPAs? So all these frameworks that we are talking, you might have heard about it, especially if someone of you is a developer. React JS, which is JavaScript, Vue JS, Angular JS. So all these frameworks are used for developing SPAs, because SPA is a front end technology. Therefore, all these are the front end utilities that we are using. So, all right, give me, if you could, just to check, kindly provide me example of SPA in your from your daily life. From your daily life, provide me an example of SPA. Very easy, even if you uh, that's the definition of SPA, but provide an example. All right, one example is Facebook. You edit, change anything, you see videos, but it doesn't change the basic functioning. What else? Share prices display. If it is a good application, then yes. Okay. Otherwise, if it is lagging, then it is not SPA. Gmail, right? Google Drive, right? WhatsApp, WhatsApp web. Okay. The answer, Twitter, perfect. The answer which I am searching for, SharePoint. Okay, all right. Can say because real time changes are there. Okay, perfect. The answer which I wanted to Google Maps. No, because we are not changing anything over it. Uh, okay. The answer which I was expecting from you people, OTT platform, which is Netflix. Yes, Venkatesh, location can be changed dynamically, but during that time, once your location start and stop is set, it doesn't have to fetch anything new, since you are connecting to internet. So that's what it requires. That's the ultimate thing it requires. Talking about OTT platform, yes, Geo, Netflix, Amazon Prime, all these hundreds of people. If there's a match of Indian cricket team, Hotstar, yes. So it caters load of a billion people, billion devices connecting to it, and still it is working without going down or showing any symptoms uh, of disconnection. So that's where SPAs come into existence. You are even someone who is not keen into cricket, they are watching some other thing over the same application, which might have some different load level. So catering to different loads at same table, YouTube, yes. So all these are SPAs. All right, one question I saw currently is, what is the difference between single page and multi-page applications? Okay. Badri says Sudan shows TLS 1.2 for security. Is this not a risk? The latest is 1.3. Very good question, Badri. But sometimes it's the compatibility issues. Say the company in which I am currently working, they are also using a TLS 1.2 because maximum of the infra inside the company, they support TLS 1.2. They haven't shifted to 1.3 due to compatibility issues or support. So that's why some companies are still working on TLS 1.2 rather than 1.3. But yes, they do have the security team working behind, keep checking, which is checking it regularly that nothing of that sort happen. Any vulnerability which is there for 1.2, they are not exploited by anyone. Vasudev, that is also secure, but every latest version is more secure than the earlier one. TLS 1.1 transformed into 1.2 due to more security. The version 1.3 is more secure, but it's not very compatible to the infrastructures yet. 1.2 is widely used. So, Chiranjit, the answer, Sunil attempted the answer, and he is pretty much right. Single page application will interact for any new changes from the web server. It will not load the entire page again and again, while multi-page applications will, for any change, they will reload the entire application. So they are more slow than single page applications. If that answers, yes. Badri answered that also. It is new page every time with the user actions. CRM is multi-page application, true. I guess this Vasudev, we are talking about the SAP CRM, right? Are we having hybrid? Where uh, where are we having hybrid? I mean, I'm not getting the question. Yahoo Gmail is single page. They do not reload on receiving a new mail. They just keep new mail updated. I mean both SPA and MPA. If people prefer multi-page application, they are preferred while using heavy applications. So for SPAs are preferred for heavy applications, just as we discussed about the OTT things. Again, the budget thing, if you don't have much budget, you use multi-page application. MPA example would be anything, say, I'm not sure how many of you have used Medium, which is a blog site, technical blog site. So if you talk about Medium, it is MPA. Any blog, any e-commerce website, which is Amazon, Flipkart, which goes to a new page. If you go to Amazon regular, it is one page. Go to Amazon Fresh. Yes, Srishti answered. Zomato, Swiggy, these are all MPAs. Wikipedia is MPA, very nice example of it. Are we having hybrid solution between single page and multi-page applications? No, no. No issues, Venkatesh. Uh, if an application is SPA, it is completely SPA. If an application is MPA, it is completely MPA. We cannot have a part of it as SPA and a part of MPA because that part itself is divided into multiple pages. So if it is MPA, it is completely MPA. If it is SPA, completely SPA. All right, just one question. Which one is faster, SPA or Sudarshan? That is SPA, no doubt about it. Amazon Prime and Amazon Mini, all of them are SPA. So you all know SPA is faster. Okay, we know that the advantages of using SPA is it is speed, most of resources loaded only once, data is preserved, we require less data. What are the disadvantages of using SPA? Whenever you click on that mini DB thing, it will redirect you to SPA rather than the MPA part. What about desktop application? Which application? We are talked about SPA and MPA already. Which application, which desktop application you are talking about? Again, that depends which application you are using. If you are using AnyRun, if you're using TeamViewer, those come under MPAs. If you are using Netflix application, desktop application, then again it's SPA. Navigation is maybe the issue with SPA, sir. No. Okay, what in navigation? You are not exact on the point, but yes, near about. Loading Akib, it is faster, so loading is not an issue for SPA. Loading is an issue for MPA. What are the disadvantages of using SPA applications? Since it is faster in execution, which do you think is more prone to attacks? Is it SP or MPA? No, there are disadvantages. Answer, Sunil has already answered it. So there are kind of attacks, injection attacks, XSS attacks, which we'll be seeing in further. Venkatesh, it is not the exact thing, but yes, while navigation, while in the data is in transit, there's scope of attacks because uh, not the entire thing is reloading, not the entire data is being fetched, but only the data which is being transmitted can be manipulated by attackers. They can simply inject malicious scripts into it. So there was recent attack which was called, that was a vulnerability in Java, which is called log4j. If anyone of you remember that 4j, this was a vulnerability which was there in every Java. It was a 0-day vulnerability. Every Java logging framework was having it. So whenever we talk about vulnerability, and it attacked any and every application which was working on JavaScript. So this is one of the uh, example where how it got vulnerability, how it got vulnerable. Okay, long story short, JavaScript was having some a single line in the code which was talking about the logging thing. A little change in that line or that code or that script made it vulnerable to changes in entire globe wherever Java was being used. So that resulted in this vulnerability, which was already present there but were never exploited. Next is microservices. When we talk about microservices, so microservices are shorter services which are running inside bigger services. It is an approach in which a single application is composed of many loosely coupled independent services. So microservices emerged to address the limitations of monolithic architectures, which we were initially using, such as scalability, flexibility, productivity. To answer all those things, we got the concept of microservices. So what are the advantages of microservices when a single code is divided into multiple shorter codes? So updating the codes is more easy now. Updating is easier. What else? Scaling can be done of each unit independently. What else? Fault isolation. If a part or a unit is in fault, it will not impact the entire structure. One point which I want to see, say updating is easier, scaling can be done independently, fault isolation. What else? Okay, I will give you a hint. Since these are different units, okay, I'll just ask you in yes or no. Since these are different units, can we use multiple programs in it? Multiple programming languages? So the answer is yes. So basic and most advantageous thing of microservices, we can use different programming languages defining different structures, different component structures. What do you think about disadvantages? Heterogeneous language, that is good. Yes, that's the answer. Chiranjit, did you get the answer now? Why it is yes? All right. So think about, brainstorm on the disadvantages. What are the disadvantages? The answer lies here only. So the disadvantage number one is which you can feel if you are using different languages in a set would yes. So the answer is complex structure. Complex or complicated, we can say. What else? What will this turn into? So if we talk about Sunil, Badri, Harjinder, all of them, they are pointing to one thing which says testing can become complicated. So when you have made a complex or complicated structure and QA has to test it, then they have to test it for different languages, different things, different services. So now let's talk about a case study of Uber. We are talking about Uber, the taxi application, of course. So Uber, like other startups, It created a monolithic architecture for its application, but it forgot to include scalability and stability in its software. I guess because it didn't know it would be very popular worldwide. So it missed that scalability part. So it used monolithic structure. When I talk about monolithic structure, what it is? It is a single tiered application that combines all components, all components in a single program. That means it was not working on microservices. All components were on in a single program. What are those components? What were those components? Client side user interface, server side business logic, integrations, data access layer. So all of these components were now in a single program rather than running on a different services. So that made the application very heavy, and it now started making problems for Uber. So for why? Because for even a short change in the application, they had to go through the entire program, see where that particular function is, change it, and failure of one program, failure of one component could bring down entire system. So as the services increased, it became very difficult for Uber to sustain. That's when they shifted from single program monolithic structure to microservices. So now when they shifted to microservices, the load was less because now it was decentralized. Every unit was independently functioning without impacting the other. So now, because they were independent, dependency on other features was removed, and from that phase onwards, Uber benefited by shifting its architecture from monolithic to microservices, and that was a learning lesson for other applications which were their competitions in global market. So, talking about security policy. As the name says, security policy is an overall general statement produced by senior management that dictates security within the organization. So what is it? What it is? An aggregate of directives, regulations, rules, practices. All of these are aggregated that prescribes how an organization manages, protects, and distributes the information. Manages, protects, and distribute the information. For any company you are currently working in, they have their own set of policies. Some says you cannot plug in USB in your laptops. Some says you can plug in but it won't work. Some says no media connection is allowed, be it your own phone to the laptop, because you can steal the information. So this is how different companies frame different policies based upon their sense of security. How are these? How to make flowchart here? Let's see. Okay. What are the? How can we divide it into strategic and tactical? Let's see. So we start with laws, directives, and regulations, followed by the policies, followed by, they call it mandatory standards. These are further followed by detailed procedures, recommended guidelines, and baselines. They follow top to bottom approach. So till here it's all strategic, and this part is strategic. That means the core or VIPs, they make these things: CISO, CTO, CDO. They sit together to make laws, directives, and regulations, policies, while the mandatory standards, detailed procedures, these are tactics based. So when we called about tactic based, that means the tactical team which is there to see on mandatory standards, the guidelines and baselines, they are responsible for these parts, the lower one. Talking about standards. All right. Talking about standards. Standards are nothing just, okay, I'll just write it here only. When you talk about standards, standards are mandatory activities, actions, or rules designed to support higher level policies. So standards are basically designed to support these higher level laws, directives, regulations, and security policies. They are very specific, technical. They include specifications for what hardware you will be using, what softwares you will be using. Examples of standards that we talk about in cybersecurity is OWASP, MITRE. These are the standards that we look after when we talk about cybersecurity. So OWASP, MITRE, SANS 25, these are the standards. Talking about procedures, what is the difference between standard and procedure? It's generally called SOP. If you hear about SOP, it is, they are not talking about the soap or anything else. It is standard operating procedure. Standard operating procedure. What it is? It is a detailed step-by-step sequence of activities that are necessary to perform a specific security task. If some of you are working in endpoint security, then you know that there's certain procedure with which you check for the endpoint security. So we have network guys here. So there are procedures with which you check for firewall rules. There are procedures with which you check for the routing table. There are procedures with which you change the routes if you are given that access. You cannot just go and change the routes without opening a change. So first it will go to CAP, which is change management board, and then if it is approved, then you can change the routes. So that's the SOAP, or procedures, or standard operating procedure that we call it. Procedures are at a lower level than standards. So standards are at a higher level than procedures, as we can see in this flow diagram. So answer: procedures and policies are dash. Are they policies and procedures are dash? Option A. Option A is unimportant. Option B is mandatory. Option C is casual. Option D is none of these. So, talking about guidelines, what are guidelines? You know what is procedure, what is standards. So these are important when you sit in interview for. These are more of information security things rather than cyber security things. They ask you for standards, procedure, guideline. What are the differences? In guidelines, you have guidelines, as the name says, they are just recommendations. They are the recommendations on how standards and baseline are implemented. Oops. So guidelines are the recommendations on how standards and baselines are implemented. So that's why the guidelines are at the lowest end, because it doesn't talk about something very necessary or immediate. What does it talk about? The guidelines talk about of different levels. Let's talk from the base, which says why we are doing it, what are we doing. When we talk about why, it is defined in policy. When we say what are we doing, those are defined by standards. How are we doing it? That is done by procedures. And guidelines are just for your information. FYI is guidelines or recommendations. See how we develop a security policy. Where can we get uh, an idea from where we can make a security policy? So let's see. Let's do a short activity. So we can have a little help from a tool, a web browser only. So what we are going to do, we are going to develop an application security policy using a template. From where we are going to get the template? We are going to get that template from sans.org. Which template? Okay, it's free. Policy templates is already there. So we need to have information security policy. So just click on it. Home security policy project. So which policy do we need? We are talking about application security. So let's go to application security. We have web application security policies. You can download as PDF or doc, but since we will be making changes according to our company name and all, I will download doc. So it is getting downloaded. You can do it sideways. So let's do it together. So once you have done it, simply open it from the downloads, web application security policy. So you see it, the entire policy. You can remove the things you don't want. So web application security policy, change the company name, your company name, change it here. Wherever it is company name, just filter it out. You can remove the footer, header and footers as per your requirement. So it will talk about everything. If any new or major application is released, third party or acquired web application, patch releases, emergency releases, annual review, how we define the severity, which are the high severity, medium severity, low severity issues. The standards that we are using is OWASP. So here you will just, whatever tools you are using, just mention it here. You're using Kali Linux as operating system. Any other tool that you're using, mention it here. Compliance policy is here. So you see standards, policy and processes here. Testing guide is provided. Change these dates according to how you want it. Responsible would be your security team. Just make summary of change. What have you changed? Is it application updation or anything related to it? So this is from where you can make your own web application security policy. sans.org. So once you move to sans.org, I'll just share this. All right, OWASP is the standard that we used. OWASP is the standard that we used for taking care of the vulnerabilities in our domain. When we talk about OWASP has top 10 vulnerabilities which keep on changing every 4 years. So latest one was in 2021. So this is OWASP top 10. For 2021, it was, so I told you it changes every 4 years. So before 2021, it was 2017. Before 2017, it was 2013. So when we talk about top 10, it says what are the most impacted vulnerabilities in any web application. We talk about initially it was injection, which was mostly impacting any web application. Now it is at number 3. Now the most impacted one is broken access control. Cryptographic failures is number 2. Insecure design is number 4, and so on. I guess you people have done it in enterprise. The first module that you had covered with the other trainer, I guess it was part of that module. Not sure. So our next topic is what's secure software requirements. When we talk about core security requirements, what are the core security requirements with which your training started? What are those 3 requirements which should be there in any case? What are those triads? So the core software requirements are CIA. Exactly. It says confidentiality, integrity, availability. So everything in cybersecurity or information security revolves around these core values. For confidentiality, okay, apart from these 3, there are 3 extra uh, add-ons which says authentication. We call it AAA, authentication, accounting, and authorization. When you talk about confidentiality, that means any sensitive data should be protected at any cost. So sensitive data should be protected. How we protected? By using some encryption mechanisms. We mask passwords, other sensitive information, we mask it. We do not store passwords or sensitive keys in clear text. We have key pass or something like those type of tools where we save sensitive data like passwords. We use TLS to protect against attacks. Just we had a short discussion about TLS 1.2 and 1.3. They are just the security measures. We do not store any sensitive information in log files because it's easily visible. The logs are very easily accessible. When we talk about integrity, integrity says, okay, as a person, when we talk of in lame language, integrity is your actions should match your words. That's how you say how integral a person is. In cybersecurity, that means any data that was actually intended to be sent, any data that was actually intended to be sent from client side to the server side should be intact, free of errors, and send as it is. So if my client had to send ABC, that too in caps, the receiver should receive ABC, that too in same format in caps, and not some other content which is unrelated, XYZ or something like that. Should not be. So in other words, all user inputs must be validated for malicious or disallowed content before processing. All published software should provide a computed digital signature to validate its correctness and completeness. So let's add that requirement here, digital signatures. So digital signatures are tested to check if the content to be delivered is integral and it is not amended on the way. When we talk about availability says it should be available 24/7. So the software must meet all the requirements of the SLA of 5 nines. That means should be available at 99.999% of the time. These are the SLAs that most companies adhere to. If I am providing a service to any other company, so I would say that my service availability would be up with the 0.001% downtime. So that's the availability that I'm ensuring to my client. The software must be able to support up to 300 users at any point and point of time. It should not be the case as the load increases, my application is crumbling. So availability also defines that application do not crumbles under the load. What else should be under availability? What do you think should be under the availability? One is restoration as early as possible. If it is a P1 or high priority issue, the restoration should be within 1 hour of the disruption. The last point is no adulteration, no modification allowed during transition. That is true. Disaster recovery, how do you do it? How is disaster recovery done? You are very near to it, but backups. What's the other name? Okay, backups is if you are getting impacted and you have some backup. What during the attack? Snapshots, okay, a little far away, but all right. One word, run more than multiple site. What is the one word for it? Failover. So Srishti has answered it. We call it either failover or redundancy. Yes, that's that only network guy will understand, Badri. Yes, high availability. That's failover or redundancy would be the main cause. Say if I'm having two routers, one of them fails, I still have the other router of some other company working for me. So that ensures the availability of services. In case BT goes down, Airtel is still working. Tata goes down, BT is still working. So that's where redundancy comes into place. Moving forward, authentication. All right. What do you understand by authentication? It says only authorized persons would be allowed uh, I have some endpoint security for my company. If I want some third party to use it, only those some other person from other company to use it for any reason, it should be my responsibility, and only that person who it is, who it belongs to, the credentials for which the credentials are created, only he is allowed to use it, again using MFA, multi-factor authentication. So that provides the authentication part. For external users, I'm talking about MFA. For internal users, it could be single sign-on, because we know that they are using the company's domain. If I'm using @simplylearn.com, I am able to use AJAX and learn simply learn both with single sign-on. Authorization says, all right, you have to be very clear the difference between what is the authentication and authorization. Talking about authorization, uh, only users with admin roles will have permissions to execute operations. So authorization means the level of access you are having. Authentication means if you are allowed to do it. Authenticated users will have read and write permissions as regular users because they are allowed. Authorized would be having the maximum scope of access. If we talk about accounting, so I saw someone talking about non-repudiation. That comes under accounting part. Why? I made a change in some server or some route in routers or some firewall rule. I made a change and then I'm denying it. I haven't done it. So accounting says we will simply check the logs. It will show the username of the person who has made the changes and thus supporting non repudiation. I cannot deny that I have not done it because logs are showing it. So accounting is nothing but logs. And what does log show? It shows identity, what action you have taken, on which object you have taken the action, what is the timestamp. Next part we will be discussing about general security requirements. So the general security requirements are session management. We don't want our session to be hijacked, nor we want it to get compromised in between we are doing our work. Errors and exception management. Config parameters management. So when we talk about session management, so session management says AAA protocols, summary on AAA protocols. Sure. So you have AAA. This one is good. Best is Wikipedia. I was at session management. When we talk about session management requirements, it says each user activity must be uniquely tracked. So if I am doing something, I'm being tracked what I'm doing in what application. Say if I'm using identity access management, then again it is tracked what I'm doing in there. If I'm using PAM, which is privilege access management, what I'm doing there is being tracked. The user should not be needed to provide their credentials once authenticated. So if I'm once authenticated, it would be very irritating if it's asking for credentials again and again. User session must be explicitly invalidated when user logs off or closes the browser. So if I talk about when you use your mobile applications or web app for banking requirements, even if you click on the back button or refresh button by mistake, you have to re-log in again and again. So that's best of session management thing I have seen, where you have to re-log in again if you want to take any action which reloads the page. So that's a security thing which safeguards you from any MIDM man in the middle attack. Session identifiers used to identify session must not be easily guessable, not be in clear text. So whatever cookies that are being sent from your system, they should not be in clear text. No one, if someone is using man in the middle tools like Burp Suite, they should not be able to see what data uh, you are transacting with your banking website in clear text. Error and exception management. So all the exceptions must be explicitly handled using blocks. Error messages displayed to the end user will reveal only the needed information. Security exception must be audited and monitored. Why we are doing error and exception management? When we will be talking about the SQL injection attacks, uh, we will talking about from where we will know that the backend is an SQL server. So the error that we would be getting, it would be showing that all right, SQL syntax error, nothing found in the DB, something of that. So something of that sort you will be getting. So that shows me that okay, first thing that it's an SQL syntax error. That means the database is SQL. All my attacks now would be SQL based. There are certain payloads which use SQL attacks, injection attacks, Boolean algebra, and all. We will be learning about it in our main course. So that provides me a hint that SQL is running in the background. So I will just move to, as a blue teamer, as a defense teamer, I will move to the programmer or developer and ask him to not show this exception or this error that we have SQL running in the background. So attempt SQL injection right away. So I will ask him to remove that error by any means. It should not be visible on the UI. So that's how error and exception management is done. When we talk about config parameters management, the configuration file or web applications such as database connections, they should be encrypted to prevent unauthorized disclosure. So sometimes some files, the config files for web apps are open in plain text rather than encrypted, or even some passwords are hard coded in this software code that it cannot. This was one of the recent example I came forward while doing source code evaluation, that username password was hard coded in the code itself, so that any attacker would have this as a cherry on the cake, that just open the source code, You have your username, password there only. Just use them, log in into the system and do whatever you want. All initialization and disposal of global variables should be carefully monitored. So wherever you are declaring global variables in the code, you should be very carefully declare those, because those could be called from anywhere in the code. Operational security requirements. So operational security requirements. Most critical flaw that can impact any business or brand must be addressed immediately. Whenever, okay, what is the environment in which we test the web apps before deploying them on prod? What is that environment called? UAT, testing environment, or simulated environment, staging environment, sandbox. Yeah, correct, sandbox. So any flaw that can impact the business and the brand must be addressed immediately after thoroughly testing in simulated or testing environment. All security incidents must be handled following an incident management process. The root cause of the incident must be identified. I'm not sure how many of you have worked on root cause analysis. So if there is any incident, either in cybersecurity or networks or whatever domain, generally the stakeholders demand for RCA, root cause analysis. So that includes every step from the very start to the very end, how it was discovered, what steps were taken, how it got missed, what are the improvement plans. So these things are a part of operational security. Operational security. So what are the requirements in deployment environment? We have talked about the testing environment or UAT or sandbox. What are the requirements in deployment environment? First of all, in deployment environment, I will check if software is deployed on internet, extranet, or intranet. Internet is which can be accessed from anywhere. Intranet is your company's network inside your company's intranet. Extranet is governed by the firewall. Determine if the software will be hosted in DMZ. So what is DMZ? If the software is hosted in DMZ. And which ports are available? Which ports are open or available? DMZ is nothing but demilitarized zone. Very important, demilitarized. Very important word, and when you are part of infra team, you must know what is DMZ. So talking about DMZ, just to check if we are having any questions. Demilitarized zone, yes, but what it is? Say, all right. Say this is the internet. This is the internet flowing to your company. Here it's a firewall. All right, let it be a router first. It's a router, then a connection to firewall, although I guess DMZ was also discussed, should have been discussed in the infrastructure part, but again, I'll share it with you what DMZ is because it is an important term. So anything between the internet, which is your ISP, anything between this ISP and your intranet or your local net is DMZ or demilitarized zone. It do contains router to router connection. This router is from your ISP. This router is from your company. So this entire region in between these is called, this entire region is DMZ. Between this router, which is of Bharti Airtel or Tata or BT, and this router, which belongs to Simplilearn, say, this is firewall or switch, and it further connects to the systems inside. It is separated from rest of the infra, or it is not, I won't say separated, but it is a shared zone. It is a shared zone between you and ISP. So anything happening here would be decided by ISP and your company, that who would be responsible for it. So this entire zone is DMZ zone, which is mutually shared between, it's just like the zero zone between any two countries border. This border lies with country A. This border lies with country B. This zone in between is DMZ, demilitarized zone. If that helps. Giving an example that this place between your network and the internet, the space in between is DMZ zone. So if you are hosting any software, back to a point, if you are hosting any software in DMZ, if you are hosting any software in this space, then again, this is one of the risky things to do. So if it is here, you should have this internet, this subnet, whatever subnet is this, you have to keep it under scan. So you can use Nessus scan or Burp Suite scan to keep checking about any vulnerabilities that could impact that software here in DMZ. Which privileges that will be allowed in production environment, very important. What privileges are allowed? Generally privileges, the admin or root privileges are provided only to the very important VIP of that project and not to all. We have to determine if sensitive data is floating. Or determine if the software will use a load balancer and or a cluster architecture. So if we are using any load balancer, these all questions should come into our mind when we are talking about the operational security in development environment. So we still have 7 minutes for this class. I will be asking few questions to all of you. Kindly try to answer them. tomorrow we will be starting from a topic called anti-piracy requirements. Archiving and anti-piracy requirements. The website I'm using is Wayback Machine. In Wayback Machine, talked about Uber. I searched how Uber used to look from the very start. I searched its browser history. It showed me every Uber website, Uber Geek, Uber Humor, but I was concerned about Uber Cabs, which is here, uber.com. It says that it has more than 3 lakh captures from 1998 to 2016. So I'm interested to see it. When I click on 1998, December 12, 1998, this is how it looked like. Just like any normal startup taxi service, clients, services, press. Mind it is just a snapshot. It won't be interactive if you click over it. It won't interact. When I clicked on March 2014, this is how it showed me that login, sign up, get it done, sign up for Uber, reliable, feedback matters. And after that, if I want to see in 2019, so this is how it looked like in 2019. And we know that now it was working on SPA after 2016 and 17. You click on ride, you click on fried, you click on transit, it will work in that element without uh, reloading all the pages. So this is how it looked like. Similarly, if you want to look in current date, say last year, July, June 23, Uber looked like this. It's still loading. Since it's fetching it from archive, the loading speed is slow. So this is what it shows you currently. Not only Uber, you can have any website, have it any website, say want to see facebook.com or google.com, any website that you want to see. So since it's working in archives, loading speed is slow. Now you see it's showing you Facebook. This is how it shows in 2024, how it was back in time in 2006. In 2006, this is how Facebook looked like. Email and password were on left side corner. Now, what is the main use of Wayback Machine? Although it is a part of the data collection of any target, but just to let you know, sometimes during the upgradation of any website or any portal, say if you are targeting any company, I'm not talking about Facebook or Uber, just an example. Sometimes when you see the old captures of any target, say even I'll take an example of Simplilearn, even though Simplilearn never existed that time, but yes, sometimes in initial uploads, initial snapshots, you would find any email address of any ex-employee, of the CEO, or some important figure. So that email address could be used to move inside that company. I can use that email address to start my phishing attack, to provide any payload inside the company. So that's why Wayback Machine is used. And what it shows, now you know what it shows. It shows the older and the newer versions of any website. Talking about the extensions that I asked you to download yesterday, how to download them, simply use Shodan extension download. And you'll be able to download it for Chrome, for Firefox, whatever you are using. Similarly for Webalizer. Go here, download it. So that's how you will be downloading the extensions. Loopholes, unintentional. Yes, if you have shared any number which I can use, that is it safe to download on office laptop? I guess no one would question it, because it is not, you are not attacking anything, you are just getting the information. Say I'm using it on my office laptop only, but I do have some other extensions also. I have Grammarly, Norton Safe Web. Norton Safe Web provides you an idea which link is safe to use and which might be uh, fishy. So if you're having these kind of extensions, I don't think any company would have any issue with it, because it's not used for attacking anything, but just to get knowledge of the page you are visiting. You would be questioned when you try scanning any company, any website, or any target. Then you will come into action, because that would be visible in their infrastructure. Someone is trying to do that. I'm very impressed that people are coming outside their comfort zone, outside their main domain, and uh, trying to learn about the security things. That was very impressive of this batch. Back to the topic that we were doing. So we had to discuss archiving requirements and anti-piracy requirements. When I talk about archiving requirements says if we want to archive something, any data, if what we want to archive, does it comply with regulatory requirement or organizational policy? Can I archive anything and everything? So first is, has to be in accordance with organizational policies. Next is the parameters it should define. The location, duration, format. Generally, as a cyber security engineer, I recommend my office or my team to archive the data for 3 to 5 years only, because anything after 5 years at the team level is irrelevant. It might be relevant at the upper stakeholders level, but at the base workers level, anything more than 3 to 5 years is obsolete. It cannot be used. So when we talk about archiving requirements, we will firstly think of the data or information that needs to be stored. So our scope is fixed. After that, we will determine the storage space needed for it. What else? If the data is transactional, that is remote and online, or will it be offline storage? That means data at rest or motion, or online and offline data. We will be categorizing it on these basis. If you want to store data, you want to archive data, what would be the best way to do it? Will it be good to store it as read write, or will it be good to store it as read only? Archives are always read only, because if it is read write, anyone can distort the actual data. So third one is ensure the data is not rewritable. That means it should be only read only. So one mistake that companies generally do, they ignore the speed of retrieval. So when you are archiving data, you should keep in mind how fast you can retrieve the data. It won't be a good idea that you are backing up data, you are archiving data, but you have to. It takes years to get it back, months to get it back. Then it is of no use. So speed of retrieval is another thing that should be in your mind while thinking about archiving requirements. What else? What else? The one point which I shared earlier is duration. Duration to store. 3 years, 5 years, depending upon what your company finds good. What else? Any regulatory requirement that is required to store that data? Generally, any data which talks about finance or stocks or something like that, those are under regulatory requirements. Otherwise, it might simply be used for insiding trading, which is illegal. So the data that has to be archived has to be under regulatory requirements. And last but not the least, determine the format. You want to store it as CSV, you want to store it as PDF, you want to store it as Excel sheets only. Talking about anti-piracy requirements. So we all know what is piracy. Creating a clone or duplicate from a legitimate copy, that comes under piracy. It's done for movies, videos, games. So how to not fall a trap of piracy? Digitally sign it. Digitally sign the software. So if you digitally sign a software, there are very less chances that it could be tampered or reverse engineering could work on it. Increase the complexity of source code. So if you increase the complexity of source code, that would, if you increase the complexity of source code, that would make it difficult for anyone who wants to uh, clone it, because he don't knows which how many microservices are running inside it, uh, which microservice is talking about which unit. What else? If any one of you have anyways used piracy, did piracy, you know that there's the license key. If anyone had ever used pirated operating system, you know that license keys are either hard coded inside that license file, or you find it over the internet. So next part is, do not hard code the license keys. When you hard code it, it's easy to use those license keys to make it look like original. Implement a dynamic license verification checks. Why dynamic checks? because if someone is using license key of some other product on his example would be operating system only, then if dynamic checks are there and we see license key missing for actual product being used on pirated product, then uh, the pirated product would face a blackout. So last would be dynamic license verification check process. Okay, dynamic license verification check process says how to check if the actual license key is being used somewhere. Say if you are just checking it once passively, once in a year, or once just when it was launched, you checked it once that okay, license key is at right place, doing good. Dynamic says you have to keep repeating that check process after every random number of months, days, so that you got to know that yes, license is being used on the actual or legitimate software and it is not misused somewhere else. So that what's dynamic checks. After that we have sequencing and time requirements. When you talk about sequencing and time requirement, sequencing means there shouldn't be any reason in the loop, in the code, that it results in a loop. Uh, Sometimes there are infinite loops that can occur due to programming or logic errors. So if there's a loop preventing the program from reach its exit condition, for example, sometimes your system is not having any physical issue, but you start it, it shows you your manufacturer. Say if it is HP, it shows you HP, reboots again, starts again, shows HP, reboots again, starts again, shows HP. So these kind of infinite loops from where you cannot get out just by restarting the systems, it utilizes your resources like CPU and memory, which may cause system crashes or performance problems. Sometimes it's your operating system as a software which is the culprit. Sometimes it is something that you have downloaded. Say you were using some application which was having some issues, which is interacting with the operating system, and a loop is created. These kind of things impact the resource utilization, and these loops have to be killed. Now, if I talk about Python as a language, it has a while. Uh, okay, how would a Python show any loop? Any statement, if it is true, while true, it will show. Say I said if the statement is true, print this is an infinite loop. Now, this could be anything which I say if it is true, then infinite loop will start. So these kind of things in a code can invite these kind of disrupting things which could lead to your system crashes. So how to avoid these? We talk about need for data classification. When data is classified, it enhances the triad. The triad is nothing but CIA, focuses on proper control and implementation. If you have proper control and implementation, these things would be under check. Sequencing would be under check. It standardize the requirements. So how to ensure that these things are taken care of? How to make sure that these are taken care of? If I don't want anyone to touch my code or to include anything like this in my code, which I have authored, what I will do, I will talk about techniques like anti-tampering, anti-reversing, anti-tampering, anti-reversing, and code signing. If anyone could answer obfuscation, what is obfuscation? What is a code obfuscation? So when we talk about code obfuscation, in the similar way that you answered, it's just making our code hard to read or hard to manipulate. So if you make your code complex or hard to read to secure, yes, to avoid tampering or to secure it from uh, any attacker, it's called code obfuscation. Even if it get leaked or attacked by attacker, since it is obfuscated, no. Anubhav, encryption in a layman language is password protection. So we are not providing it password protection yet. We are just making it complex to read. So securing from attacker, it is a type of security. Yes, type of security, but how we are providing that security? We are just making the code more complex or unreadable for anyone else. Means only I know which microservice is running where, how to call which function in which place, making it more complex that only I know how it is executed. Yes, that's the exact in English meaning of what we are studying. But the same in similar way, obfuscation means making it hard for anyone to guess your password. So generally for corporates, password obfuscation means it should be, we have the GRC people here. They know what password obfuscation is. It is making it 18 digits. It should be 16 to 18 digits. It should contain capitals, special characters, smalls. Yes, making it mix of all of these. Correct. So let me show you how you obfuscate any code. Use of paraphrase with special characters. Yes, you can use paraphrase. Paraphrase is nothing that password only with special characters, numerics. Let me show you one example. How can we obfuscate any code? Say, I have something written in JavaScript, but I want to obfuscate it. Do we have any tool? The answer is yes, we do have it. How we can do it? Let's see. Obfuscator obfuscator.io. So this tool is for, okay, so this is just an example. This is a code which says hello world, the basic code that we all always talk about. we started our coding with these kind of codes. If I ask it to obfuscate this, so now do you know what was written inside it? So this is how the codes get obfuscated. You just know that it's some function is starting and here it's a semicolon. The rest you don't know. It's showing hello world somewhere here distorted. So this was my example. If you want to have any other code, just try it, obfuscate it, you will see the output here. So you don't want to copy paste, just upload your file, obfuscate it, share it to anyone you want, ask them uh, to recode it, and it will show the entire actual code. So this one is a good tool for code obfuscation. You can choose your options according to you. You want to change it to something other, mangled dictionary, so it will do that. So now it's just in dictionary errors because I changed it here. Change it to something other, mangled. So it is mangled. It will now obfuscate in mangled manner. So any way you like, you will be able to generate any application, server security or network security, incident handling related policy from this page. Just have any sample code. You can get any code from GitLab, but say any sample code in Python. Python program to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit. Okay. So we have this code with us. Let's have, so this is the code using obfuscator. Okay, this is JavaScript code obfuscator. So I will check for any JavaScript sample code in JS. JavaScript example to swap two variables. So we have some code for swapping two variables. I'm taking the comments along, so comments are included using obfuscator. Simply pasting it here. It could be my original code or something from Stack Overflow. Obfuscate it. This is the output that it is generating. You see, you cannot understand what it is. So this is another example. So these are JavaScript examples. Similarly, you can find Python and other code examples. All right. Your query was that what is the requirement of doing it? Why are we obfuscating the code in the very first place? So we are doing obfuscation to make it confidential between. If I don't want my code to be read by anyone else, I want to be read only by Anubhav, I would share it. Even if I share it in group chat like this one, it would be in obfuscated form. No one would know what it is written, but you know that I would communicate it with you that it's obfuscated. Just use any ND obfuscator and retrieve the actual code back. So that's where it is being used. Perfect. The obfuscator itself is using uh, encoding. It's encoding into whatever you are asking it to encode in. So if you see here, what is this? It is nothing, just want to encode it in hexadecimal, it will encode it in hexadecimal. If I want to encode it in some dictionary thing, it will encode it in dictionary thing. All right. So talking about anti-reversing techniques, as the name says, perfect. Uh, Anti-reversing techniques, as the name says, reversing techniques. That means somewhere it's talking about reverse engineering. Now, what is reverse engineering? Reverse engineering is the process of analyzing software to understand how it works towards gaining knowledge to duplicate or enhance the software. When we talk about anti-reversing, for that, firstly, we need to know what is reverse engineering. Reverse engineering is a term which you will very casually listen while working in cybersecurity field. What does it mean? It's nothing but how you analyze the software. Software is already built, it is already there, functioning well. You analyze the software to understand how it works, gaining knowledge to duplicate or enhance it. So if there are clones of, say, if you go on, if you clone some software, say if there's Swiggy, we also have Zomato, we also have other examples like EasySure, which are relatively newer. So if you see, they are pretty much alike. These softwares are pretty much alike. They work on similar model, they work of similar base. Similar examples are Ola, Uber, InDrive, Blue Cabs. If you see, all of these have similar UI structure. Even Rapido, these they are, one point they are competitors, another point they have similar applications. They know that they have understood the customer requirement, the customer psyche, even if it was started by one. Here it's Uber, here it's either Swiggy or Zomato, don't know which one started it. But once the code was there, one programmer or the entire team put in efforts, the code was out, cloned, made it for any other term, any other uh, company. So even if you search for any of these codes as a programmer, you might find them online, the earlier versions or obfuscated versions, but that would be enough for you to clone it. So this is nothing but reverse engineering. You are trying to make it from something that is already there. Generally, programmers, what do programmers do for any application? They have an idea from GitLab or Stack Overflow. The codes are already there. They have it from there, customize it according to our requirement, and then that's where reverse engineering is used. So me, as a person working in Swiggy or Zomato or Uber, i won't I won't feel good if my code is reversed, or if reverse engineering is being done on those codes for without giving me any monetary benefit another companies made using those codes. So that's where anti-reversing comes into play. That's where reverse engineers are are stopped making these things, because that's again is illegal, because the copyright thing is already with the original author of that code. So what do you think is the best defense against this reverse engineering things? What have we studied? It's called copy paste. Okay, in layman it's called copy paste, right? You copy paste and then you customize it according to your wish. Okay, Arpan says, what is Stack Overflow? Stack Overflow, it gives you an idea of uh, codes. Means I have heard that programmers use Stack Overflow to get an idea of codes they are trying to develop. In other words, we call it inspiration. We got inspired from that code. That's why we are making it better in our own infra. So code obfuscation is required if we copy paste code. Code obfuscation is required to stop that copy paste thing. So this is the answer of my question. My question was, what is the best defense technique against reverse engineering? So answer is obfuscate the code. You obfuscate it, no one would know what it is written there. So reverse engineering would be a bit harder. Okay, I remember a question was there from someone that if everyone knows that the code is obfuscated and how to deobfuscate it, what is the benefit of it? If I'm sharing the obfuscated code, I will not let you know that it is a code. Why would I let you know that it is a code? Uh, that's the gist of sharing that with you. So that only the actuality would be shared with anyone I would like to share my code with. For rest of all, it is just crap which we do not understand what it is written. Just a random pair of strings. While the one, say, if I want Arpan or Badri to know that it is actually a code, so I would let them know that just deobfuscate it. It's obfuscated in hexa or binary. Deobfuscate it, and they will get the code, even if I am sharing it in public. How would that be obfuscated? Using deobfuscated. Using the same, you will just upload the file here where it's written obfuscate, just use it. And if I have already shared that it's in hexa, used hexa, and it will show you the exact code. Otherwise, there's a decoder in Burp Suite. Once we will be doing Burp Suite, I will show you there also how these kind of encoded things you can decode. So we have multiple ways of doing it. One of this is using obfuscator, deobfuscator. The other one is using encoder, decoder, which is again a part of Burp Suite. Those who are already working in cybersecurity field, they know what Burp Suite is and how it's working. We will know it with the course of time while we complete this course. Hope the pace of the class is good today. I got feedback that it was fast yesterday, but I tried to make it little lighter today. So in anti-tampering, we were having anti-reversing. In anti-tampering, we were having anti-reversing, code signing, and obfuscation. Obfuscation, you know, anti-reversing, you know. What is code signing? Anyone want to attempt code signing? What is code signing? The name says it all. So code signing, perfect. Uh, Sign on code, simple, right? Copyright, exactly. So code signing is the process of digitally signing the code. For example, if it is having some executables or scripts, I will have some private key of the code author. Code signing assures that authenticity of published code besides proving integrity and anti-tampering protection. Uh, uh, Example of it is how to show that you are the author. Yes, hashing is part of it. Signing on code, that those things, the private and what digital signing is, that would be covered under cryptography. After this, obfuscation things and all, there's a there's an application called Grabify. Only if my company allows it to run. What is not running? How it is done? Code signing talks about, uh, as we saw an answer from Arpan, it talks about the sharing of keys. So there are a combination of keys that are shared. So once you digitally signed the code, you are its author. The private key remains with you. Only you would be able to execute that code. Even if you share it with others, it would be only read only, and it won't be executed unless and otherwise you share your private key, which would be checked with the public key and executed. So how that is done, we all will. So cryptography will talk all about hashing, MD5 hashing, SHA-256, all those things will be covering there. Depends, because there are different algorithms. You can use variety of them. DHkey exchange, I believe, is what earlier coders used. Now they preferably use hash algorithm for 256. Yes, SHA-256 is used currently. So I was talking about Grabify. Just want to show you if it runs here. Okay, I believe this is uh, the URL which is not responsive on any URL. Connection timed out. So since we are talking about cybersecurity, and you people want to have a little hands-on, let me show you something. Uh, for hacking, since hacking module is far away, just an overview. There's a thing called GHDB, or Google Hacking Database. So when we talk about Google Hacking Database, we have variety of things there present online. You can see vulnerable servers here. You can see index of confidential files with juicy information. Again, vulnerable servers are there. What else? You can get filtered things. Web server, error message, footholds. Let's see various online devices. it would show any online device. So using one of these exploits, this is what we got. So this is some camera, which is a live recording camera of Lee's McRae College. I'm not sure where it is, but with the time it shows 8:55 a.m. 3rd March, 8:55 a.m. That most possibly is US or Canada. You can stop. Sometimes you even get the controls of the camera. You can rotate it in left or right. So now you can see somewhere in the world using Google hacking database. This is one of the one of the many uses. It provided you a hold of an online device, so you now as an attacker can have. So all of this is for education purposes. Kindly do not misuse anything. Try to go overboard in things till you get more about it, you know more about it. So this is what I wanted to show you, just to keep your interest intact in the topics. We'll be starting with the new topics. Next we are going to start. Next topic would be, so this would be software security. Now we will be talking more about software security. So I was trying to show you what Google is capable of doing other than searching for our queries. So when you talk about Google hacking database, it shows you all the exploits which are available. I will just reset the filters because it's showing filtered content. So it shows you vulnerable servers, files containing juicy information, but these are of no use for me currently, since I just want to show you what Google hacking database is capable of doing. So to show you that part, I will just filter it with any online machine. I will filter it for any online machine. So it's showing me the different online machines. There's Brother Printer, Xerox printer, LaserJet printer. Even in these, I will just want to see cameras. So not using much, I will just open first few exploits. One is from Shilpa, one is from S. Thakur, one is from Yash. Now you click on these URLs. So this is someone using this URL for something else. Novus IP camera. I'm not a robot. Here it's requesting you for login credentials. If you want to brute force it, try generally available default username passwords, but that would involve, okay, it says root, password might be password. Okay, I don't want his camera to be logged. So we have other cameras also. So now you have got control of some camera in some icy area, snowy area with controls. Here you can move it right. Okay, it is requiring a sign in. So for controls, you would require sign in. Similarly, here's another camera in bushes. Do you have admin? No, we don't have admin. So this is one of the things that you can do using. Uh, okay, when you talk about Tor browser, you think when you are visiting the dark web, you are safe. Uh, when you enter Tor browser, your IP is broadcasted. So when you try that, when you think that you would be trying to attack someone, meanwhile you see that your Gmail is misbehaving. So this is my personal experience. I tried using Tor. That was the first and last time. Uh, you will see something fishy at your end after you try using Tor browser. Yes, I'm talking about Tor browser only. Uh, how to use the DB as a hacker? We will see it. This is just a trailer. These sites record our logins also. No, these are just the cameras which they forgot to encrypt, forgot to provide encryption. So even if I provide you the IP address of my home camera, you won't be able to log in. That's true, Venkatesh. We need to be very careful in terms of handling. That's why I keep reminding that it's only for education purposes. No one would try exploiting anything. What about deep web? Deep web is nothing, just one way to reach deep web is Tor browser, which is also called Onion browser. Uh, I won't recommend you to download it or to move around Tor, uh, because very professional hackers are already using those things there. So you won't even know where you get a victim while you surf deep web. All right. So any more questions? We are heading to our next topic, software security. So as the name says, software security. Software, we already know what software is, how they are used, why they are used. They are just firmwares that we use for our day-to-day work. What we will be learning in software security, we will be talking about what are broken access controls, and their related vulnerabilities. We will explain cryptographic failures, we will classify various applications issues using, we will talk about what are CVEs, what are CWEs. These are nothing but common vulnerabilities. How are they named? What is their nomenclature? And we will discuss some real world scenarios. So a bit more interesting topic than what we were doing earlier. Here we would be talking about OWASP top 10, SANS 25 in better detail. I will remove all these tabs. Let's see what OWASP top 10 says. So it is nothing just a standard that we people use, and it is a globally recognized standard. Globally recognized standard used for making websites secure. Just to let you know, even though it is not part of your curriculum, but I will let you know that a WASP top 10 is not just for web applications, but even for mobile applications. So covering, because we are talking about softwares, web applications. So this is what we will be working. We do have similar things for mobile also. So if any one of you is more having more interest in mobile security, mobile app security, then this is what you can refer to. And for web applications, one point that we talks about major vulnerabilities globally, in how many years these are refreshed. So the answer was in front of you only when I opened that link. Talking more about web applications, but for mobile, I'll just share you the link that these are the OWASP top 10 for mobile. Let me share the latest one. We have a OWASP top 10 for CI/CD also. Yes, we do have. So even when we talk about OWASP top 10 2013, so these were the OWASP top 10 in 2013, which talked about injection, broken authentication, session management, cross-site scripting, insecure deserialization. These were the things that were impacting corporates in 2013 with injection at the top, broken authentication and session management, and other things following it. When we talk about 2017, injection is still on the top, broken authentication is at second, while other in 2021, broken access control is at number one. Now, what all these loopholes are, what these vulnerabilities are, and how it impacts our working in cybersecurity, we will be discussing it in the session that we are going to complete. Since we are talking about OWASP 2021, 2021 would start with broken access control, cryptographic failures, cryptographic failures, injection, insecure design, security misconfig, vulnerable and outdated components, identification and authentication failures. You will be knowing them one by one. Software and data integrity failures, security logging and monitoring, and SSRF. Before I move into explaining all this, the place from where you will get the best ideas of everything, which is Port Swigger. So if you write any issue, say CSRF is one of the issues, I will just say CSRF Port Swigger. This tutorial would be providing me enough detail of everything and anything related to the issue. This is just to let you know if in case you are trapped somewhere. So that's where you can simply use ports figure to your defense. So back to where we were, broken access control. When we talk about broken access control, as the name says, that the access control is broken somewhere. So unauthorized access to system functionality that resources uh, and resources that creates exploitable weakness. So when there's some unauthorized access to the system and it could impact that system's functionality entirely, that's where broken access control, we say it is there. So what is example of it? uh, I don't want anyone to log in into a website, but again, someone who is very skillful. He checked out some loophole and was able to access it. We'll see how we do it. There are certain vulnerable websites available on the internet, which we will be using to see how we can take advantage of loopholes and do this broken access control thing. If I'm logged in with an ID of Harpreet, say this engagex.simplilearn.com, although this is some Zoom meeting, but yes, if you say that I am logged in into my account currently, is it a way that I change here something and I'm able to log in into any one of yours account? So any these, if I'm able to do that, that means the access control is broken somewhere. Usually it happens if there is user ID present in the URL. So we try to change those IDs with some other user IDs. If you are able to log in with that user, not this URL, but if some URL is having an ID which belongs to Harpreet, say this is some ID which belongs to Harpreet, you change it, use someone else, say Chiranjeet's ID. I know that Chiranjeet's user ID is XYZ, whatever it is. I placed that ID here, pressed enter, and now this same page says that the logged in user is not Harpreet but Chiranjeet. So these kind of things we can do using broken access control. We will see how we do it. But before doing the practical part, we will be understanding how these. We will understand the theory part first before we move into doing the attacks, understanding what it's done, how it is done. When we talk about access control vulnerabilities, what are the most common things that we keep in mind? So I'm talking about access control things. When I talk about access control vulnerabilities, the example that I just shared, if I'm allowing the primary key to be changed to another user's account. In this example, it was Harpreet and Chiranjeet, but you can use anyone's ID to get access to that user's account. And how it was done? I used bypassing the access control checks by using, what did I modify? By modifying the, what did I modify here in this example? UID. Where did I modify it? Where was this modified? In link, and link is called, as Srishti said, Akib said, modifying the URL. So I modified the URL and I was able to bypass the control, the access control. What else does it mean? Say, if I'm changing this account, I'm using Srishti's account and Srishti is having admin access. I'm just a normal user and Srishti is having admin access. So does this mean that I'm able to elevate my privilege? Simply changing the IDs in the URL, I would be able to elevate the privilege because now I am the admin. So there's one application available which is a vulnerable application. I'll side by side I'll try to exploit that also. It is called OWASP juice shop. So here we have this application. It includes certain challenges. We will do it one by one. Although this is bonus than what you are provided from Simplilearn, we will be doing those labs also side by side. All right. So when I talk about this account thing, I want to log in. It says, all right, just provide your email password. Okay, I'll first say that I'm not a customer yet. Let's see if I find any fault here, then we will move forward. Trying to register. So harpreet at the rate yopmail.com. Yopmail is disposable email. And some password. Say my password is harpreet H capital. H-A harpreet 123. All right. I repeat the password HAR harpreet 123. It says password matches. Now I remove 123. Password doesn't match. Perfect. And if I remove 123 from here, so I have removed it from here. Now you see that there's misconfiguration. So even though I have changed my password, it still says that both are matching and we can move ahead. So let's move forward. It will take my password, even though it's 8 digits and it is 11 digits. So one of the OWASP top 10, which says misconfiguration. So you are seeing misconfiguration here, that even though the condition is not met. Okay, let's see, will it allow me to register? Registration completed successfully. You can now log in. All right, registration is successful. You can now log in. Now problem for me is I don't know which password will it take. So let's see. Harpreet 123. It says no. Removing 123. So you see that the confirmed password was not taken, but the one which I supplied earlier was taken as a password. Just to show you that I am with the same email address that I showed you. All right, so that was misconfiguration part. Let's see if we could find something else. Let's see for injection. Okay, trying to log in. Generally we have some developers hard code the default credentials, which is either admin, either admin password. All right, it is not taking any of these. It is not taking admin, it is not taking password. Can I try some payload? I will try doing SQL injection here. For SQL, those who know what SQL is, the language is, it works on queries. It checks for your query in the backend database that your query is true, it will execute it. If the query returns false, it will not execute that query. So let me see if I'm using Boolean algebra. It says either admin or 1 is equal to 1. My password is password. It says it identifies that it is an object. Okay, I will use hyphens to ignore anything after this, and I am inside as an admin. So what is this? This is an injection attack. I'm using SQL injection here. This is how we are doing it. So this one is an injection. Okay, I would be providing you one more example. What else can we do here? What else can I do here? Customer feedback, complaint, support. Let me log out and I will do something else. Customer feedback, anonymous. I hated your apple juice. And when I say this, I hate your apple juice, 6216212. Okay, what least rating I can give it? It is 1, but the apple juice was not even worth it for 1. So can I change it? Control Shift I. Can I change that rating? Where is it reflecting here? One way is you make changes in the code itself, but I'll show you a more unique way. We will be using Burp Suite for this information to pass through. I'll just be let me use my Burp Suite. So one thing would be to check in inspect element. The other one would be using Burp Suite. I'll just turn on the Burp Suite and connect from another site. Okay, all right. So Anubhav wants example from another site. So since we are not attacking any main site, we are using vulnerable websites. So let me show you another site as requested. There's a site called test.php, which is Akunetics. So test.php is the other site. So here, if you try to use any, because for injection you would require something to put your payload inside. So you see your payload executes. These kind of executions, these kind of injection attacks are called XSS or cross site scripting attacks. The one that we already saw for the other payload, that was SQL injection attack for admin part, and this one was XSS or cross-site scripting. Here we used cross-site scripting, we used script. What script did we use, and where do we get these kind of scripts? You get these from GitLab. So if I use payloads for XSS, you will get all these lists available online on GitHub. Similarly for SQL injection, so just go there and use these for injection attacks. Kindly do not use any of these on live web applications. I don't want anyone of you to be suffering legally. Never use these on live applications without permission. What codes to use for injection? For injection, we are using these payloads that I shared you. You have to check which payload works on which website. So cybersecurity is a field where you have to invest ample amount of time. So using payloads from these lists would require you to invest a lot of time. So these are for XSS. Similarly, if you don't want XSS attack, you want SQL injection, you will get that payload list here. So these payload lists are for SQL injection attacks. When you are provided your scope, you have to go through it, which payload works over it. And yes, that's that's the most time consuming thing which you'll see as a red teamer. What is payload? Payload is anything which you use for the destructive process. So you want your scope to destroy, you use payload. So where else we use word payload? If you know, we use payload in defense system. So payload is whatever is inside the rocket, whatever is inside the missile, those things are payloads. So similarly, payload means that data portion. Payload is used in a sense of destruction. Anything that you use to, yes, in networking terms, it is part of the data. Payload, yes. You talk in header things, that payload is there in part of data in headers. As Rajiv Ranjan said, it is the capacity to carry malicious script query to target location, for sure. Okay, so this is a tool called Burp Suite, on which I'll be showing you the method that I was showing you how to disrupt the rating on any website. We were doing that on OWASP juice shop. So Burp Suite is again from Portswigger. It has its inbuilt browser. So I'll be opening the browser. Once the browser is open, I'll restore because it will open juice shop only. One feature of Burp Suite is you can intercept the traffic. That means you control what traffic is going. So here, if I say intercept is on, that means whatever traffic is going here, I'll be able to see that traffic in my proxy. So currently, currently I'm turning on off, simply moving to the page where I have to give the rating. So we were at customer feedback. I had their, say, orange juice. So I didn't want to give them even a single rating, but I know by bod mass, the result for this is 6. Now, when I'm trying to submit this, I will turn on the intercept. Burp Suite works as man in the middle. So you see the entire traffic it is capturing. It is seeing that as man in the middle. It says, okay, you say orange juice is sugary. It's anonymous. All right. Let's change this rating to 0. Here it is not possible. I rated 0. But now let's see. I submit it. Forward this traffic. Thank you for your feedback. The feedback has been taken. So when the feedback has been taken, let's see if that feedback is visible anywhere. So I will turn off the intercept again. So it would be either, all right. So someone says, I love this. Some says, great shop. Nothing useful available here. They all are having 1 to 5 ratings. But let's see if our rating is somewhere here. Orange juice was sugary by anonymous and it is showing null rating. So This is how you can change the course of things. Uh, which browser? How do we connect? All right, I'll just show it again. This is inbuilt browser in Burp Suite. So when you move to proxy, you have this open browser. This will open Chromium browser here. So Chromium browser is the inbuilt browser for Burp Suite. There are two ways in which you can use Burp Suite. It is either professional, you can buy licensed version, or just for practice, you can use Burp Suite community version. So some features are available only in licensed version. So you won't you would have 50% of these in community version. This is on the same OWASP juice site. Yes, this was the one that I got interrupted in. So yes, it's in OWASP juice shop. The same one in which we did that admin part. And what else? Now, since I'm using Burp Suite, we still have 10 minutes. Let's see what else we can do using Burp Suite. Another part. So, what else we can use? I forgot to turn on the intercept. Click here. It is showing me something that okay. Uh, Harjinder, Burp Suite is not a site. Burp Suite is a tool. Burp Suite is a tool. Uh, it's not a site. You can download Burp Suite online. Please share the process to download the Burp Suite. Okay. Simply Burp Suite. Just download it from here. It will download the community edition. Guys, sharing the processes step by step would be hard. Better would be if we are just revising it through video. That would be impressive, right? What exactly we are trying to do? All right. Anyone who could answer this? Why are we doing it? Oh, what? Why are we doing it? What is the agenda? Because we are studying OWASP top 10, and this is we are trying to study a OWASP top 10 using these, uh, just like we did security misconfiguration, injection attacks, broker access control. We were able to take over the admin account. So using injection, so broker access control, all these things. That's why we are studying Burp Suite and deliberately vulnerable application. Yes, it is man in the middle attack. Yes, we are doing MITM, and MITM is taking cue of what uh, communication is going on between two sender and receiver. So where I was, yes, I was trying to show you something else. If I send this to repeater, repeater is something that repeat things. Uh, it shows me that okay, there is something called FTP legal.md. Do not take stress. This is core things. Because you stressed that you want something practical, I'm showing it. But yes, this is something bonus apart from what you are actually having in your curriculum. But I'm always happy to share more than you expect. So just something from my end. What I'll do here, I will see, okay, it is talking about FTP. It's showing me that, okay, so, FTP protocol is running and we are getting a file legal.md, the file on which I clicked. I clicked on legal.md here, which says check out our boring terms of conditions. All right, it was legal.md. I would send it and see response here. Okay, it is generating some response. What and response is the legal information. There's a legal file which says, I guess it is in some other language. It is talking about something. Okay, here it is in English. No, some other language. All right, no issues. What I'll do, I'll see if we have anything else in .md. One file is legal on which so when I change this legal thing, I remove legal with .md and see if we are having some other files here, .md files. Okay, if I remove even FTP, are we able to get .md something? Doesn't work. What if FTP is back and .md is removed? We will see any file transfer protocol here. Let's see, 200. Okay, that means it is successful. All right. If we are having any other file, .404 not found. Any other file which is using FTP. .200. Okay. So you see, if I search for .md, we have got another file, acquisitions.md. It says 12 matches. All right. Announcement, which is an encrypted file, .md. Coupons.md. Legal.md we already have seen. Let's see if we are able to see acquisitions.md, because acquisitions.md is not visible on their web page. So let's see if it is visible to see what's written in acquisitions.md. So you have find out a confidential document. This document is confidential, do not distribute. It shows their planned acquisitions. This is the planned acquisitions. We will be doing more practicals, but yes, just to give you a gist of how cybersecurity works, this session was necessary so that you know where we are heading to. And if this sparks interest in you, that this is what we do in cybersecurity field.
Hey everyone, welcome to Simplilearn. Today we are going to talk about some really interesting and powerful hacking gadgets you should know about in 2024. But remember, this is just for learning. We don't want anyone getting into trouble. So moving on. The best way to keep your computers and devices safe is to know about the risk. So some risks are easy to cater, using strong passwords, and don't download from bad websites, and don't hand your unlocked device to strangers. But there are also hidden dangers that can cause big problems. Some tools look innocent but can be very dangerous. Here are 7 gadgets that look normal but are actually powerful hacking tools. These tools are made for security experts to test systems, but they can be misused. So let's kick things off with a device that's small but incredibly powerful, that is Raspberry Pi. So Raspberry Pi is a compact and affordable computer that has revolutionized the tech world. Originally designed for educational purposes, it has become a favorite among hobbyists, makers, and even professionals. Despite its small size, it boasts impressive capabilities, including multiple USB ports, HDMI output, and support for various operating systems like Linux and Windows 10 IoT Core. The Raspberry Pi can be used for a wide range of projects, from simple programming and gaming to complex IoT systems and home automation. The Raspberry Pi can also be a dangerous hacking tool. With the right software, it can be used to perform a variety of hacking tasks. For example, it can run Kali Linux, a popular operating system for penetration testing. This allows it to be used for network scanning, password cracking, and even setting up rogue access points to intercept data. Its small size makes it easy to hide, and its affordability means it's accessible to many. In the wrong hands, this innocent looking device can become a powerful tool for malicious activities. Now that we have seen the potential of the Raspberry Pi, which by the way is one of the personal favorites for tinkering, let's move on to another seemingly simple but powerful device, the Wi-Fi adapter. So Wi-Fi adapter might seem like a simple device used to connect to wireless networks, but it can be a potent hacking tool in the wrong hands. These adapters, when paired with the right software, can intercept and monitor wireless communications, making them invaluable for network analysis and penetration testing. For example, they can be used with tools like AirCrack-NG to crack Wi-Fi passwords. Hackers can use Wi-Fi adapters to perform attacks such as packet sniffing and man-in-the-middle attacks. These activities can lead to unauthorized access to networks, data theft, and severe security breaches. It's like having a digital spy in your pocket. While essential for legitimate security testing, it's crucial to be aware of their potential misuse and to secure your own wireless networks against such threats. Speaking of Wi-Fi, you won't believe how sneaky this next device is. Let's take a look at a device that takes wireless hacking to a whole new level, the Wi-Fi Pineapple. The Wi-Fi Pineapple looks like a standard router, but it is a sophisticated device used for hacking wireless networks. It allows attackers to create rogue Wi-Fi access points, tricking users into connecting and revealing their login credentials. Imagine connecting to what looks like a free public Wi-Fi only to have your data intercepted. This device is capable of advanced man-in-the-middle attacks, monitoring, and recording data from all connected devices. Additionally, the Wi-Fi Pineapple can capture Wi-Fi handshakes, which can then be used to crack network passwords. Its powerful feature makes it a favorite among penetration testers for assessing network security, but in the wrong hands, it can be used for malicious activities, highlighting the importance of robust wireless security. So from Wi-Fi to Bluetooth, which is everyone these days, right? Let's now explore a powerful tool for Bluetooth hacking, the Ubertooth One. The Ubertooth One is an open source Bluetooth testing tool that appears to be a simple USB dongle. Despite its unassuming appearance, it can monitor and analyze Bluetooth communications, making it a valuable asset for those testing the security of Bluetooth devices. Think of it as a spy for Bluetooth traffic. The Ubertooth One can capture Bluetooth packets, perform Bluetooth attacks, and even explore vulnerabilities in Bluetooth networks. Its ability to dissect Bluetooth traffic makes it a powerful tool for both legitimate security research and potential misuse. Understanding its capabilities helps highlight the importance of securing Bluetooth-enabled devices against unauthorized access and attacks. Continuing with radio frequency tools, which honestly sounds like something out of a spy movie. So let's discuss the Hack RF1 and its versatile capabilities. So the Hack RF1 is a versatile software-defined radio SDR platform that can transmit and receive radio signals from 1 MHz to 6 GHz. It looks like a standard electronic device, but can be used for a wide range of hacking activities. Imagine being able to capture and manipulate signals across a broad spectrum. With the Hack RF1, users can capture and analyze various radio signals, jam frequencies, and even spoof signals to manipulate communication systems. This tool is particularly useful for exploring and testing the security of wireless communication systems. While it serves an essential role in legitimate research and development, the Hack RF1 also demonstrates the need for robust security measures to protect against radio frequency based attacks. So now let's look at a tool that takes advantage of a computer's trust in USB devices. And trust me, this one's sneaky, the USB rubber ducky. So the USB rubber ducky is a device that looks like a regular flash drive but acts like a keyboard, typing commands into any computer it's plugged into. Hackers use it to execute pre-programmed scripts that can steal data, install malware, or take control of the target device. It's like a tiny digital ninja. This tool exploits the trust computers have in USB devices, making it a potent weapon for cyber attacks. It's a reminder to be cautious about plugging in unknown USB devices, as they could be rubber duckies in disguise, ready to unleash harmful commands and compromise your system security. So finally, we have got a real undercover gadget here. Let's uncover the secret capabilities of the LAN turtle. The LAN turtle looks like a typical USB Ethernet adapter, but it's a covert hacking tool used to monitor and infiltrate networks. Don't let its innocent appearance fool you. It provides hackers with several capabilities, such as network scanning, DNS spoofing, and data capture. The LAN turtle can be discreetly plugged into a network, allowing access to gather sensitive information and gain unauthorized access. Its ability to operate undetected makes it particularly dangerous, emphasizing the need for vigilance and robust network security measures to prevent unauthorized devices from connecting to your systems. So there you have it, guys. We have explored some of the most powerful and dangerous hacking gadgets out there. These tools can do a lot of damage if they fall into the wrong hands. That's why it's so important to stay informed and vigilant about cybersecurity. Hey everyone, today we will explore the world of cybersecurity with HackerGPT, a specialized version of ChatGPT designed for ethical hacking and cybersecurity. In a digital landscape where cyber attacks occur every 39 seconds, causing billions in damages annually, HackerGPT provides the essential tools and knowledge to defend against these threats. So HackerGPT offers guidance on a wide range of topics including security practices, ethical hacking techniques, and scripting for system security. Cybercrime damages are expected to reach $6 trillion annually, making it a major challenge for organizations. And if we talk about some of the breaches, so in 2020, over 36 billion records were exposed due to data breaches. And the infamous Equifax breach of 2017, where 147 million people's information was compromised, highlights the importance of regular security assessments and vulnerability management. These are the areas where HackerGPT excels, and HackerGPT strictly adheres to ethical guidelines, refusing to assist with any unethical or illegal queries. So our commitment is to provide guidance that adheres to legal and professional standards, helping you become a responsible cybersecurity professional. So guys, let's get started with HackerGPT that equip you with the knowledge and skills to defend against cyber threats ethically and effectively. So guys, this is ChatGPT and this is the paid version of ChatGPT 4.0. And what I was telling you is this is the Explore GPT section. So here you can find all the GPTs that are created by ChatGPT, OpenAI, or the individuals, or you can find the companies who have created GPTs. So you can find these are the recently used, and this is the most used HackerGPT. You can find other GPTs also, that is HackerGPT, and you could see that, and they have been used by 5,000 plus users, and this have been used by 10,000 plus users. So you can just search for ethical HackerGPT here, and it has been rated 4.5 stars, 10,000 plus conversations, and these are the conversation starters if you need any assistance. And the capabilities you can see here, and the ratings given by users, and more by the creator who has created this. So we'll start with this. We'll start the chat here, and I want to tell you guys that ChatGPT doesn't answer non-ethical questions. So if you try to extract that information from ChatGPT, that won't be possible. But we can do a bit, like we can cross a bit line with ethical HackerGPT, but that should be used for ethical purposes only. So I will show you guys how you can utilize this GPT, and One more thing guys, if you want to create your own GPT, you can also create that also. You can go to explore GPT section and here's the create option. Click on create and here you can start creating your GPT. If you click on configure, you can write the name of your GPT, description, instructions, and the conversation starters as you just saw with the Hacker GPT, ethical Hacker GPT, and the capabilities what you want to be enabled. You can do that. And here in the create section, you could write the prompts here and it will take that information and use it for more purposes. And here you could attach more files that could help create your GPT. Okay guys, so here you could see the configuration and the preview of your GPT and you can finalize that. So moving back, we'll get back to ethical Hacker GPT and start with our conversation with him. So starting with, the first thing we can do is we can ask him like, how can I perform a basic security assessment on a web application? So if I tell you guys, performing a basic security assessment on a web application is crucial for identifying vulnerabilities and ensuring the application is secure. And this process involves using various tools and techniques to test the application for common security issues. So you could ask him that, how can I perform a basic security assessment on a web application? And just wait for a few seconds and you could have the response from ethical Hacker GPT. So you could see that performing a basic security assessment on a web application involves several key steps. And these are the key steps. Number one is preparation and information gathering. And how you can do that? These are the steps: identify the scope, gather information. Then is the second step, that is reconnaissance. And you can use the tools Burp Suite, Nikto, and others. Similarly, you could see all the steps here. So I won't be guiding or I won't be reading what responses are generated by ethical Hacker GPT. I have used that and he provides very accurate, like I would say around 95 to 96% accurate results. Here I want to show you guys how you can utilize it. So I will show you prompts and what things you can ask him. So this was all about, repeat. So this was about the general security thing. Now we'll move to ethical hacking and we can ask him how we can perform a SQL injection attack ethically on a test environment. So these are the prompts that you can write. That would be, how do I perform a SQL injection attack, and that too ethically. If you write this, that would be good on a test environment. And if I tell you guys, so SQL injection is one of the most common web application vulnerabilities, and understanding how to perform a SQL injection attack ethically on a test environment can help you identify and mitigate this risk in your own applications. And you could see he has responded and he has provided you the steps that you can set up a controlled test environment first thing, then preparation, and you could use these tools. Then you have the manual SQL injection testing. So these are the methods that you could use, that is or 1 equal to 1 for the database, and automated SQL injection testing. So this is the command for that. And you could verify vulnerability, documentation, reporting. So you could see that this GPT is capable of answering the basic questions as we have discussed the basics question till now. Now we'll move to scripting and automation. So here you could see how he respond to this. So we'll ask him, can you provide a Python script to scan open ports on a network? So let's see what he provides. Provide a Python script, and that too to scan ports on a network. So scanning open ports on a network is a fundamental step in identifying potential vulnerabilities, and a Python script that can automate this process, making it easier to regularly check for open ports and secure them. So this is the Python script. You can use any ID and run on that, and you could see that he's explaining the code also. Yeah, you can ask him like, can you explain the code line by line, and this Hacker GPT will do that for you. And how to run the script, that also he has provided you. And similarly, we can also ask him that how we can write a bash script to monitor and log unauthorized login attempts. And if you want, I can also run this prompt. How do I write a bash script, and that too to monitor and log unauthorized access, unauthorized login attempts. So we can monitor and log unauthorized login attempts, and that would be essential for maintaining the security of your system. So as you can see, he has written a bash script, and that can help you automate this process, and this will provide real-time alerts and logs for further analysis. And you could see that he's providing the explanation and how you can run the script, and he's writing the note also. Like, you can write more prompts if you have any doubts in any of the script or any of the responses that Hacker GPT has responded, and he will definitely provide you with good responses. So now moving on, now we'll ask this ethical Hacker GPT about some specific security tools, and we could ask him about Burp Suite. And so let's write a prompt. Can you explain how to configure and use Burp Suite? Or we can write for web application testing. So if I sum you up, so Burp Suite is a powerful tool for web application security testing, and understanding how to configure and use it effectively can help you identify and address a wide range of security vulnerabilities in your applications. So you could see he has provided the initial steps, that would be downloading and installing Burp Suite, configuring your browser to use Burp Suite as a proxy, and then intercept and inspect traffic. And then you can use it for testing purpose, logging and reporting, and tips for effective testing. So this is the response for the security tools. And if we talk about incident response, we can ask him to write a script to collect system logs for forensic analysis. So collecting system logs is a critical part of incident response and forensic analysis. And this script can automate processes that can ensure that you have all the necessary data to investigate security incidents effectively. So if I write here, we can ask this Hacker GPT, and I'm sure he will provide the response for that and write the script. So can you provide a script to collect system logs for forensic analysis? So as I told you, this is the critical part of incident response, and we have covered about the tools, that is Burp Suite. We have asked him about the automation process, general cybersecurity question, ethical hacking, that would be SQL injection attack, and the Python script to scan open ports on a network. So he can write scripts also, automation tasks, and he could respond with the general cybersecurity questions also. And if you see here, for the incident response, he has written the script to collect system logs for forensic analysis. So I won't be explaining this code, as we're just looking for the prompts that we can give to ethical Hacker GPT. If you want, you could just ask him also that explain this code line by line. And here he has mentioned also the explanation, that is directories and files to collect. And after that, he is collecting the logs, and that would be copied in the directory, that is, he has mentioned it, a variable, that is output directory. Archiving logs, cleanup, and how to run the script. So this was about the incident response. Now we'll move to some advanced topics, and in advanced topics, what we can ask him is how to perform a man-in-the-middle attack in a controlled environment. And remember these, that you have to mention some of the keywords that would be in a controlled environment, and for that thing only he will respond or provide the response to you. So I will start here, that how do I perform a man in the middle attack in a controlled environment. So if you understand man in the middle attack that works in a controlled environment, this can help you develop better defenses against such attacks. And it's important to learn and practice these techniques ethically. So you can see here that he's providing the prerequisites and the step-by-step guide how you can conduct a man-in-the-middle attack. So first is set up the control environment, then install necessary tools, enable IP forwarding, perform ARP spoofing, and then capture and analyze traffic, clean up and restore the network, and conclusion. So you could just follow up with more prompts that I want more information about setting up the control environment. Just write this prompt and this ethical hacker GPT will provide more responses to you. So he will provide you how you can set up the control environment. So now moving on, we will ask some more prompts, and that could be about the reverse engineering. So we could ask him that, can you explain the processes of reverse engineering a malware sample? Or we can also ask about honeypot to detect malicious activity. That could be, how can I implement a honeypot to detect malicious activity? Or what are the techniques for securing a Docker container? So we'll ask him one prompt here. Let's see what he responds to that. So how can I implement a honeypot to detect malicious activity? So you could see that he has started responding to that. And if I tell you the sum, so a honeypot is a security mechanism set to detect, deflect, or in mechanism to some manner, and it counteract attempts at unauthorized use of information systems. Implementing a honeypot can help you monitor and understand attack patterns. And this is the step-by-step guide to implement a honeypot. You can choose the type of honeypot, prepare your environment, install and configure the honeypot software, and these are all the commands how you can configure it. Then you can monitor and analyze the honeypot and regular maintenance and updates. And this is the simple honeypot using honeyD. You could install that and run these commands. So with that, guys, and in the last we will also cover cybersecurity policies and compliance. So he could also answer to those prompts also, that you can ask him that what should be included in a company's cybersecurity policy, and you could mention which type of company you are running. So I will ask him that, so you could ask him that what should be included in a edtech company's cybersecurity policy. So let's see. So you could see here that creating a comprehensive security policy for an edtech company involves adding various aspects, and that would be introduction. First is the purpose for cybersecurity policy, scope, roles and responsibilities, data protection and privacy, network security, application security, user security awareness and training, incident response and management, compliance and legal requirements, physical security, device and endpoint security. So similarly, you could ask him that draft me the company's cybersecurity policy and start with the introduction. So he will provide you all the introduction points, and then you can ask him that draft roles and responsibilities. He will draft that also. So you could like break it into parts and ask the ethical hacker GPT, and he will respond to you, as it has some limitations of some words and some of the responses. So you could ask him in the breaking parts and he will respond to you. Hey there, learners, welcome to Simplilearn. Today, we will see the starting journey in cybersecurity that is super exciting but can be a bit daunting. So, to help you out, we are going to talk about some common mistakes that beginners often make and how you can avoid them. If you're just getting started or looking to improve your skills, this guide will set you on the right path. So, let's dive in and make sure your cybersecurity career gets off to a strong start. So, let's get started, and we'll see the worst beginner cybersecurity mistakes everyone makes. And we'll start with the number one point, that is ignoring basics. So many beginners rush into advanced topics without mastering the basics, which can lead to confusion and frustration later on. It's essential to build a strong foundation before diving into complex subjects. If we talk about number one is understanding networking. Networking is the backbone of cybersecurity. Learn how data travels across networks, different types of networks like LAN and WAN, and basic networking protocols. Knowing how network protocol functions help you understand how attacks occur and how to defend against them. Then comes mastering operating systems. So operating systems are another critical area. Whether it's Windows, Linux or Mac OS, you need to know how different OS work and learn about file systems, user management, and basic command line skills. So this knowledge is crucial for tasks like malware analysis and system hardening. Then comes the basic coding skills. So coding is an invaluable skill in cybersecurity. You can start with a simple language like Python and learn how to write scripts to automate tasks, analyze data, and understand the logic behind software vulnerabilities. So basic coding skills will help you comprehend how attacks are carried out and how to develop countermeasures. So, taking the time to master these basics will make advanced topics much easier to understand and will set a solid foundation for your career in cybersecurity. So, remember, it's a journey, and starting with the basics will ensure you build strong, lasting knowledge. Now, we'll come to number second point, that is skipping hands on practice. So, this is also one of the cybersecurity mistakes that beginners make. Cybersecurity isn't just about theory, practical experience is crucial, and many beginners focus too much on reading and studying without applying what they have learned. This creates a gap between knowledge and real world skills. So, the number one point here is setting up a home lab. So, create a home lab with an old computer or virtual machine to practice what you learn. Install different operating systems, set up networks, and simulate attacks in a controlled environment. Then comes real world scenarios. So, use your home lab to practice real world scenarios like configuring firewalls and detecting intrusions. Platforms like Hack the Box and Try Hack Me offer cybersecurity challenges that mimic real life networks and systems. Then comes building confidence. So, hands on practice builds confidence. So, solving real problems and seeing the results of your actions make you more comfortable with cybersecurity tools and techniques. And this confidence is crucial when making quick, informed decisions in this field. So, gaining practical experience bridges the gap between theory and practice, making you a more effective and confident cybersecurity professional. So, now we'll see the third mistake that cybersecurity beginners make, that is, lack of documentation. So, documenting your work is a crucial yet often overlooked aspect of cybersecurity. Many beginners focus solely on learning new skills and solving problems without keeping track of their progress. However, good documentation practices can significantly enhance your learning experience. And by keeping detailed notes on what you learn, the tools you use, and the methods you apply, you create a valuable resource for future reference. And this habit helps you review and reinforce your knowledge, making it easier to remember complex concepts. Additionally, well documented work allows you to share your insights and solutions with others, whether through blogs, presentations, or team collaborations. It also helps in troubleshooting, as you can quickly revisit your steps to identify where something might have gone wrong. So, in the professional world, documentation is essential for maintaining clear and efficient communication within a team. And by starting this practice early, you will develop a habit that will benefit you throughout your career. And now we'll move to the fourth cybersecurity mistake for beginners, that is waiting too long to start applying for jobs. So, a common mistake many beginners make is waiting until they feel perfectly qualified before applying for cybersecurity jobs. This approach can be counterproductive. The truth is, you might never feel completely ready, and waiting too long can cause you to miss out on an valuable opportunity. So, start applying for jobs early in your learning journey. The process of applying and interviewing is a learning experience in itself. It helps you understand what employers are looking for, and it can highlight areas where you need to improve. So, early job applications also provide you with real world feedback and networking opportunities. Remember, many entry level positions are designed for people who are still learning and growing in this field. So, employers often value enthusiasm, willingness to learn, and problem solving skills as much as they do technical knowledge. So, by starting early, you can gain experience and build confidence, even if you are not yet perfectly qualified. And then comes the next mistake, that is trying to qualify for all jobs. So, in the vast field of cybersecurity, trying to qualify for every job out, there is a common but misguided approach. Cybersecurity encompasses a wide range of specialties, from network security and ethical hacking to incident response and security analysis. Instead of spreading yourself thin trying to learn everything, focus on a key few areas and become proficient in them. Specializing in special fields make you more valuable to potential employers. It's better to be an expert in one or two areas than to have superficial knowledge in many. So by focusing on specific skills, you can develop a better understanding and expertise that sets you apart from others. So this focused approach also makes it easier to stay updated with the latest trends and advancements in your chosen areas. Remember, depth of knowledge often outweighs breadth when it comes to career advancement and job satisfaction. So, this was all about trying to qualify for all jobs. Now, we'll see the biggest mistake, that is IT foundation fallacy. So, many aspiring cybersecurity professionals believe they need a deep IT background to start their career. This is same as the number one point, but this is a misconception. While having a solid foundation in IT can be beneficial, it's not a prerequisite for success in cybersecurity. What you need are the specific skills and practical experience. Focus on learning about networks, operating system, and security tools. Engage in hands-on practice through labs and simulations to build real-world skills. Cybersecurity is a field where practical knowledge and the ability to apply concepts matter more than theoretical IT knowledge. And many successful cybersecurity professionals come from diverse backgrounds, including those with minimal IT experience. So they succeed by continuing learning and adapting to new challenges. So don't let the lack of deep IT foundation hold you back. Concentrate on gaining the skills and experience that are directly relevant to the cybersecurity roles you are interested in. Now moving to number 7, that is not attending cybersecurity events. So attending cybersecurity events is one of the best ways to stay updated and connected in the field. These events, including conferences, webinars, and meetups, offer a wealth of information on the latest trends, tools, and threats in cybersecurity. They provide a platform to learn from experts, gain insights into industry developments, and discover new technologies. Additionally, these events are excellent networking opportunities. Meeting other professionals that can lead to job opportunities, collaborations, and mentorship. Building a network within the cybersecurity community can provide support and guidance throughout your career. And many events also offer hands on workshops and training sessions that can enhance your practical skills. So, by actively participating in these events, you can demonstrate your commitment to continuous learning and professional development. Make it a habit to attend cybersecurity events regularly to stay engaged and informed. So, this was all about number 7 point, that is not attending cybersecurity events. Now, moving to number 8, that is obsessing over which specialization to choose. So, when starting a career in cybersecurity, many beginners obsess over which specialization to choose. This can be overwhelming and counterproductive. Instead of stressing about making the perfect choice, allow yourself the freedom to explore different areas of cybersecurity. The field is diverse, with specializations like penetration testing, incident response, security analysis, and more. Take the time to experiment with various topics and see what interests you the most. This exploration phase is valuable for gaining a broad understanding of this field. So, over time, you will naturally gravitate toward areas that align with your strengths and interests. So, remember, your specialization can evolve as you gain more experience and insights. Early in your career, focus on building a solid foundation and gaining exposure to different aspects of cybersecurity. This approach allows you to make an informed decision about your specialization when the time comes, ensuring you choose a path that truly excites and motivates you. Thank you for joining Simplilearn's course on web application security. Now you have the skills to identify and mitigate common vulnerabilities and protect your applications from cyber threats. So these skills are valuable and in high demand. Good luck on your web security journey and see you in our next course. Thank you.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simplilearn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.